If not, you go just like,
Give me a second. I'm glad I went to class. Learned some stuff.
That's good.
Miss Horton is literally the sweetest woman alive.
Yeah.
She was like, whatever you need. And I was like, good morning, Wasatch. As all of you noticed as you walked into the Commons this morning, today is not like every other day. Instead of doing our usual announcements, we would like to take this time to reflect on the importance of today and what it means to all of us. We would also like to pay tribute today to those that lost their lives and to the heroes that answered the call.
Like all of you, we weren't even born on this day. The planes hit the towers, but it still left an impact on all of our lives. So what does that mean today to you, and what can we do to remember and honor those people? We asked a few of you what your thoughts are on 9/11. Here's a short video showing some of your responses.
This is going to be really the first class that has they weren't even born yet. And so that becomes, that really becomes history. When you live through a certain era, it becomes more real and you experience it.
When I hear 9/11, I think of the stories that my parents have told me, because since I wasn't alive, that's all I really have, and the stories that like teachers tell us on 9/11 and things like that. Like my parents have told me where they were.
My dad was a pilot when 9/11 happened, and he wasn't flying in the air, luckily, when any of that, when 9/11 actually occurred. But he did feel a lot of the effects from a pilot standpoint. It was terrifying for people all across the United States because they didn't know what was happening, they didn't have communication, there were children in schools and nobody knew what was going to be attacked next or what the plan was. They didn't know what to do.
So I remember I was living at home studying in college, and I was asleep when it was actually happening, and my dad ran in my room. He said, "Derek, you gotta see this." And I was half asleep when I went to the family room, and to see those towers coming down, it was all surreal and it was a blur.
You're watching this unfold and people are speculating, but there's really no sense that we're under attack really at that time. I mean, it might have been in our back of our minds a little bit, but when that second plane hit, it was just like, holy smokes, somebody's doing this to us. And so it was, watching the news nonstop for 2-3 days. It was, really emotional.
For me, it means family. I remember a week later when my sister got married, I was looking through the newspaper and I saw pictures of people who were looking for family members. And one picture that stood out to me was a lady who was holding a picture of her fiance that had been missing. And it got me thinking about my sister and how fortunate it was that worked out for her, but the contrast was really impacting.
Michael was assigned to Ladder 2 on July 11, 2001, 2 months before the attack. Michael saw what took place when the first plane struck the North Tower and went and alerted the firehouse. When the second plane struck, Michael's battalion chief was dispatched. Ladder 2 went into the North Tower. I know from a magazine article that Michael made it up to the 28th floor. We do know that Michael was coming down along with the 3 others when they passed ladder 6 in the hallway of stairwell B. That was what we know. It wasn't until the evening of September 11th that my father, I, and my wife Kim found out that Michael was officially listed among the missing. My prayers at that time was that he would be found and he would not be alone. We wouldn't know for days that he was recovered. As I heard the car pull up, I looked out the window and I see Michael's girlfriend in the passenger seat. I jumped down 2 flights of stairs. Before Dougie could even knock on the door, I opened it and said, "What is it?" He said, "We got him. Michael's coming home." I never cried so hard with a smile on my face. I was upset because it confirmed my worst fears that Michael was gone. But I smiled because he was coming home. Michael was recovered, along with Captain Hill, Rob Parrow, and Carl Molinaro. During that week, I had helped my dad plan a funeral for my little brother. Something I never thought I'd have to do in my life. As we were the last ones in there to say goodbye to Michael, we turned to leave, and as we opened the door, Michael's Lieutenant Tommy Woods turned around and yelled, "The 10 Hut." And every firefighter there saluted us as we walked out. It hurt so bad that Michael was gone, but I was so proud of him. We're coming up on 17 years later, and every day it still hurts, just not as bad as the day before. But there were days I miss him so much, and there are days I can feel him with me, that I know he's helping me get through a day. I know there was one card received by Michael's firehouse, and it had a substantial donation to the fire department in it, and all it said was, "I watched you leave that morning. It never occurred to me you wouldn't come home." And it was just the love and the care that everybody in New York City showed for one another. We were all one.
Well, if anything, I think it united the country. I think it brought a lot of people together with, just believing in humanity, just kind of like, there's good in this world. Even though that terrible thing happened, I mean, a lot of people came together.
I remember the months that followed, there was a lot of just the interpersonal relationships among people. People seemed very humble, and they were a lot more open to listening to each other and connecting. And so I always try and remember that.
It's amazing that it takes such a tragedy for people to treat people like human beings. But, I mean, if you had lived through it and you'd seen what New York City was like, I'll always call myself a New Yorker.
As we all can see, today is much more than the attack and putting up flags. It means so much more to so many people, people that you and I know. We need to make sure that our generation remembers both the bad and the good of that event.
As was mentioned in the video, the best way that we can pay tribute and honor the victims is to simply be kind. Be kind to one another today. Look for an opportunity to be good in someone's life today.
As we close this broadcast, we would like everyone to pause and take a moment of silence. As we do this, we will be showing the names of all the victims. Teachers, feel free to start your class when you need to. Perhaps use some of the time to have a discussion with your classes.